How did this whole thing start? What did you do? What was the motivation?
It started a long time ago with a couple of members now deceased. You're aware the lower part of the golf course sits in a floodplain, so we're known for flooding, and the joke is when we get heavy rain it becomes Lake Whitemarsh. So a number of members did some preliminary work, what could be done, what couldn't be done, particularly in the floodplain area, very restricted permit-wise. Then about 6-7 years ago, we sought help from Dave Cavanaugh, who's an environmental wetlands expert, also a member of Whitemarsh, and we started to craft a master plan where we combined 3 or 4 really separate projects into one big one. And we did that for permitting reasons, and that was to address the flooding on the low side of the golf course, dredging the ponds, and then bunker restoration. We had a number of bunkers that, from a vintage standpoint, were approaching end of life, 15 years. And phase 1 was the lower half of the golf course where we're prone to flooding. And they came in, moved a lot of dirt, raised fairways, and just recontoured, dredged the ponds, did it all through the winter, and that turned out great. So at the end of 11, that was done. I'll call that phase 1. At the end of 12, we started phase 2, which was a number of holes on this side, 16, 12, 17, 11, all the bunkering, and 2. And we were able to finish pretty much phase 1 and phase 2 on time, get the golf course open, get back to daily maintenance, cutting grass, etc. And then phase 3, now that this side of the Dry Creek is done, the holes that are left really are 18, 9, 7 and 8 on the other side of Thomas Road, and 6. And then we'll be done. The golf course will be done, completed, and then hopefully we'll be out of the restoration business for another 10 or 15 years.
What did you guys do to the first hole?
Over the last few years, we've just basically removed some of the trees to the right of the fairway. Try to open it up a little bit. We have a little creative mounding up near the green. If someone blows their tee shot right of the bunkers, they'll be into some mounding area with some taller grass. Second hole, we rebuilt all the bunkers that were there, and we also removed many trees on the left and right side of the fairway.
Yeah.
This is the third hole at Whitemarsh Valley, and what we did 2 years ago during our floodplain project, the bunker you see on the left hand side was installed. There never was a bunker there before, and it approximately plays 280 from the tee.
This is number 8.
Number 8 at Whitemarsh Valley plays about 466 from the tips, par 4. This fall we're looking to rebuild the bunkers on the right side of the fairway. There's 5 small bunkers that were part of the George Thomas original ones that we kept in place. Right now they're a little bit close to the tee.
Oh, that was it.
Okay, 10th hole, Whitemarsh.
10th hole, Whitemarsh. This fall it's part of phase 2 bunker rebuilding. The bunkers you see on the left side of the fairway, they are going to be pushed closer towards the green. There's a large tree beyond them that may be removed, and the bunkering at the green will also be 501 at Whitemarsh Valley. We did a lot of work to this hole over the winter. The bunkers on the left side of the fairway, they were pushed towards the green approximately 12 yards, and then a whole entire row of trees were removed on the right side of the fairway to give you a little bit more open look for your second shot. The 2 bunkers on the right side of the fairway were rebuilt, and 2 additional bunkers were added further up to give a second shot a little bit more challenge.
It's a second shot, hole 11, the par 5. It's the view from 11 green, looking back down the clubhouse in the distance.
12th at Whitemarsh,
Yeah.
measures about 164 from the membership tees. Over the winter, the bunkers up at the green side were rebuilt, probably made a little bit shallower to hopefully make it a little bit easier to get out of. We increased the size of the approach up in front of the green, and we did some mounding work between the green and the out of bounds to help redirect some errant balls back into the putting surface.
This was the starting point for the water evacuation part of the project. Starting with, we crowned this fairway up 2 feet, which you'll see when we go down there, so that the water comes off the crown left and right, and a drainage system was worked to move it around so that we can now put this hole back in play after a pretty significant rain event, where a couple years ago the hole would be closed, maybe the golf course would be closed.
Foxes, baby foxes.
Yeah, that's got to be the mother's big one.
We rebuilt the bunkers over the winter on the 16th hole. There were 2 bunkers on the right hand side, and when we rebuilt it, we just made it one large bunker. We raised the floor of the bunker a little bit to make it a little bit easier to get out of those right side bunker. Left side bunkers, there's still 2. We have a steeply inclined approach leading to the green. So basically you have to put your tee shot right on the green surface.
It's a tiered green too, isn't it?
Actually it's relatively flat, and it just kind of tilts a little bit from back to front.
Big false front.
Big false front. You got to get your tee shot on the green.
Yeah.
You'll have a long hole. A shorter par 5. We rebuilt 9 bunkers on this hole. There's 3 on the right. Usually comes into play off the tee. We actually pushed those bunkers farther down the fairway, with the exception of the first one, which we actually brought it into the fairway a little bit. The left side bunker was brought into the fairway to tighten up the landing area. And then we have another bunker down near what we call the dry creek on the left hand side. Then we have a stone wall, and then the third shot goes onto the green, where we have 4 bunkers surrounding the green, which pitches from the back to the front. In my opinion, the best finishing hole in the Philadelphia area. There's a back tee behind us, probably about 50 yards, that stretches as par 4 hole to 466. What you have are 4 bunkers on the right hand side that you have to carry, 2 bunkers on the left hand side, 2 greenside bunkers, and 2 approach bunkers. You have to place your drive in the right location in order to get an easier second shot to an elevated green. This hole is really neat, and the bunkers are planned to be rebuilt this fall to make it even more exciting.